Hey guys, John Jones here. The other day we talked about, or last week we talked about investing in rental property, and we played out a scenario of a kind of a case study or a current scenario of what your return would look like on buying a rental property right now in this market in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Today I'm going to talk about the common reluctancy to the average person out there to buy rental property. The things that I hear are, John, I'm scared to own it because, you know, what if a water heater breaks, or what if somebody doesn't pay me my rent, and those kind of things. I hear a lot of that when people are scared about investing in rental property. My answer to that is pretty simple. One is, when you own rental property, yes, you are going to have things that happen to the property. You got to maintain the property. And the way I tell people to treat rental property is it's an investment. And the only difference between that and investing in the stock market, most people who invest in the stock market give money, a lot of people on a monthly basis, into their IRAs or just to their stockbroker or anything like that, so they can budget for it. The only thing about investment property, you may not touch it for 12 months and then all of a sudden you have to do some repairs to the home. So, so it kind of catches you off guard. So I tell people, just always set up a reserve account. In fact, when I'm selling an investment house or for a first-time investor, I want to know that they've got a certain percentage, say on a $100,000 home. I want to see that they've got $5,000 in a reserve account, because I don't want to put them in a position to fail, or put them in a position in 6 months down the road when they hit a blip, and there will be blips, that they have to sell the home. I want them to be able to weather it and keep going, because it is a long-term investment. And on any investment, you will have to put money into it along the way. You're investing into your investment. So that helps people rationalize a little bit that, hey, I do own rental property, things are going to come up, and I will have to have money to fix those things or take care of any shortfalls. Another thing common thing that I hear about people's reluctancy to invest in rental property is they don't want to have to deal with the tenant. And what I do is I have all my properties with a property manager, and they manage the property. The tenants don't even know who I am, and there's a good reason for that. I'm more susceptible to falling for the pulling on the heart stories of that somebody's been laid off or this and that, and those are things that can happen. But at the end of the day, it's business, and I want that buffer in between me to tell them that, you know, they're sorry they've had a misfortune, but you know what, my client still has to make the mortgage payment on that. So it takes out of that human element out of it, and I have somebody in between me. It costs typically about 10% a month, 10% of gross rents received. So if the property's bringing in $900 a month, then you're going to pay that property manager $90. So you're talking maybe $1,000 a year to manage your property, which is nothing compared to the grief that someone like myself goes through having to deal with that stuff. Also, the fact that they're more qualified and they're looking for renters every day, they're typically going to get the place rented before I would, because that's what they do. And secondly, they're usually going to qualify the potential tenant better than I would, because that's what they do. So sometimes you think you might be paying out 10% as an expense, but really what I have found when I used to rent properties to my tenants and I didn't qualify them as good as I should have, I would end up with more tenants that might cause me problems and not pay me. And I found that the 10% I pay them, they get a lot better renters, so they typically save me 10% plus some, because they've got better renters that are usually paying better than the ones that I would get, because I wasn't good at that. That was not my specialty. So property management is definitely a route you might want to consider. So those are just a couple things. The main things that I hear are the most common themes that I hear when people talk about rental property. So anyway, thanks, God bless, and we'll talk to you next week.